Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome back. We're still continuing with the show right here on MX24 TV. This is the AM Club, yes. And today on Lifestyle Daily, we're going to be discussing something very important, some conversation that people try to shun away from because they don't believe that it actually exists. Yes, it mostly happens during motherhood, even during pregnancy. It happens with that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about postpartum depression. My name is Daphne Flashy. Let's get straight into the conversation. But before that, I need to plug you in on something very special, something very important. Now, so for my ladies, okay, we're talking about BO16 No Lie Hair Relaxer. Now, looking for the perfectly stronger, healthier, and beautifully straight hair without irritation on your salon relax or retouch days, then try the new BO16 No Lie Hair Relaxer and thank me later. Yes, this relaxer is specially crafted 3-in-1 formula straightens, strengthens, and protects your hair, leaving it with long lasting smoothness and a radiant shine. Now, it's gentle on your scalp and enriched with shea butter, coconut oil, and olive oil to nourish your hair. In just 3 easy steps, you experience the silky, smooth hair you've always dreamed of every single day. Choose BO16 No Lie Hair Relaxer for gentle yet powerful transformation that lasts now. That's wow! Available at beauty stores or supermarkets near you. New BO16 No Lie Hair Relaxer. Express yourself. The GC brand, it's all about you. Now, as I said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a conversation on postpartum depression. I'm excited about this conversation because as a mother to be, give or take in the next 2 to 3 years, I think that this conversation is important to me because I get free apple. Do you get it? Not everyone gets it like that, but I get to facilitate this conversation and also learn from it. We have here in the studio with us, we have Tracy Amene Tink. What? I got it right. Amene Tinkrine, and she's a registered midwife and founder of Bedflex and Healthy Bambini. That's beautiful. And then we have Dr. Evelyn Roberts, who will be my best friend very soon because we've already had bookings there somewhere. Exactly. And she is a clinical psychologist. Hi, beautiful ladies.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Good to be
Good to be
here. Great.
here. I'm glad. Now let's dive straight into the conversation. And it's crazy because just 2 days ago, I watched a movie on postpartum depression. And I'm excited that this conversation that people used to shun away once upon a time, it's all in our faces, actually. And I'm excited about that. I have personally seen women that have gone through postpartum depression. They don't even have anyone to talk to, and they do the craziest things, and then they find out later that this is actually what it was. Let's get straight into it. I'm going to start with let's start with both of you. We're going to take it this way.
Okay.
As a nurse, as a midwife, right? Um, let's take it from your point of view. What is postpartum depression?
Okay, so when we talk about postpartum is 6 weeks after the woman delivers.
Okay.
Right. So depression, we all know, normally the woman experiences hopelessness, sadness, extreme sadness, and then feeling worthless, seeing negativity in everything, both in her environment, and people around her. So that's what the woman who just delivered faces within her 6 weeks after delivering. So postpartum depression, is she facing depression within her first week after delivery?
Yeah. What about you? Let's get into it. What do you think from a clinical psychologist is postpartum depression?
So it's not too different actually. It's basically feelings of depression, symptoms of depression that occur after a woman has given birth. Yes.
Yeah. As I said earlier, the conversation was not had a lot when it comes to postpartum depression. People used to run away from that. In fact, they used to downplay it. What do you mean you're depressed? After birth, because you just gave birth to a bundle of joy. You're supposed to, it's a must to bond with the baby. It's a must to feel this excited. Forgetting what the body has gone through during pregnancy and after pregnancy. How would you how would you identify someone who has postpartum depression? When someone comes to you and then a person says, "Doctor, I have postpartum depression," how would you identify that?
Okay, so we want to look at some of the symptoms that they have. So basically, that those feelings of sadness, feelings of not being able to connect with their child the way that they would expect, the joy that they're expecting to have, like they don't have, and because of that, you can have feelings of guilt and shame around it because you are expected to be happy. So then you see that that is not the case. And so then you also see sleep issues, right? And then eating issues. And you also see the fact that they, isolate a little bit more. So there's a lot of fatigue. These are some of the symptoms that someone may
Yeah,
experience.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you've seen cases like that come to you, right?
Yes.
How do you deal with it, and how do you identify these issues as a midwife?
Okay, so as a psychologist shared with us, you realize that they withdraw themselves, like
Okay.
isolation, and they don't want to speak because here in Africa, women feel like when they are talking about their emotions, others sees as she's
It's a
exaggerating, so she
joke.
wouldn't want to
Yeah,
talk about it.
yeah.
And everyone outside is wishing her like how do we call it in our local language? Mimautinkwa. Then she have to say mitridas and all those things. You're expected to be happy. Like as you said, bundle of joy. You have a child. People went, they didn't come back. So why do you look sad and all of that? So the signs that you see is she trying to be on her own because she doesn't want to share it. She's afraid of judgment. She can't sleep. She can't eat. Because imagine she just gave birth and she has to be waking up 2 to 3 hours to breastfeed the child. So she doesn't have enough sleep and then she can't also get, that sense of feeling that she's even important because everybody comes around and asks, how is the baby
How's the
doing? But not
baby?
you.
Immediately after
Yeah.
labor, you're in the
And it's
bed
so
and
sad.
everything, and then they go straight. Oh my God,
The
you're so cute.
baby.
They don't even ask, like,
Yeah.
exactly. Um,
Yeah.
um, um. Is it something that happens scientifically that makes the woman go through postpartum depression, or you think it's solely psychologically?
Well, it's learned psychologically. When it ends up in depression, it's a mental illness at
Yeah.
that point. But then it starts from different angles. Sometimes the trauma that she went through during delivery, some go through cesarean section, others to natural birth, they'll have to do episiotomy, that is cutting to help aid the baby come out easily. And then they'll have to, yes, suture after that and all of that. So there's a lot of pain. And sometimes so maybe the baby was born and the baby is not in good health. So how will she cope with that? Relationship problems, she's a single mother, financial problems. So all these factors can affect her even trying to, be happy that the baby is here. So these are some of the things that,
Does it
leads to
affect
that.
breastfeeding?
Yes,
It
it
does.
does.
It
It
does
does in
affect.
a lot of ways
Yeah.
because everything comes together for her to be able to also heal. And if she's not healing well, she wouldn't be able to breastfeed. And breastfeeding has a lot to do with emotional bonding. Yeah, the baby does sense it because the baby doesn't speak verbally, but sense your non-verbal like actions and your
Oh,
smiles,
so
even
that's when the
behind your
baby
fake
starts to know
smiles.
that that's my mom
Yes,
because of the breastfeeding.
yes,
I
yes. It helps in
see.
bonding
I
as
see.
well. Yes.
Let's get into this. Huh. When we talk about postpartum depression, when we come to Africa, there are women that are going through it. I'll say a lot of women that are going through it. Why do you think this conversation is now being had?
So I think there's been a rise in mental health awareness over the course of time. And this conversation is part of the rise in the mental health awareness that we are seeing. Because especially in the Western world, this is a topic that, it's a hot topic. Like people want to be able to have the woman have good mental health, basically, especially when they have also just given birth. So then that's a conversation that's important because when we are looking at the worst case scenario when it comes to postpartum depression, we are looking at it developing into postpartum psychosis.
Oh.
And so then that's when you hear that a woman just gave birth and her child is in the bin, try to kill the child, and all of that is because of a postpartum psychosis that might be going on. So when it's been there, it's in the news, but then we just think that this woman is wicked, right? But then at the end of the day, yes, there were signs which were ignored, and then now we have, the worst case
yeah,
scenario
yeah.
happening.
I even know someone that went to give her baby to the lady sitting at a shop in front of her house, and she went to sleep. You know,
I think that movie.
yes,
Yeah, I saw
yes.
it.
She went to give because she wants to sleep. Like she just wants to sleep. She wants a second without her baby. How do you think? What ways do you think we can put in place to prevent these things? Are these conversations even had way before the woman gives? As soon as she takes seed and she goes to the hospital, is this part of antenatal?
Yes, it is.
It's part of
It
antenatal.
is. Yeah,
Okay.
that's why it's very important for her to go for a regular visit once every month before she delivers. We talk about it and we talk about other things that she'll be experiencing, danger signs as well. So it is part of antenatal.
It's part of the
education,
antenatal.
yes.
Because for antenatal videos that I've seen them with cloth on their body and they say, hold here, do this, and their husband. But I don't see the conversation, pushed enough. Because if you really think about it, it's no joke. It's not something, because somebody you see that, oh, there's a case where a woman has killed their child and they didn't even realize what they were doing, as you spoke about, like the psychosis and whatever. But which ways do you think that family, can help with this situation in case this woman has postpartum depression?
Right. So the family can support in a lot of ways, and then they are the main people who
They
can
are
help
the
the
main
woman,
people, yeah.
yeah, go through it. If it's the woman herself who is supposed to identify or tell that she is going through it, most of the time they are not self-aware. Okay, so unless she knows her normals, she wouldn't know that she's deviating from her normals. But those around her can observe and notice. So we really need them. You have to pay close attention to the women. Is she acting different from how she used to be? She used to be a bubbly person. Yes, she's healing. She went through a process, but it shouldn't affect her that much. Do you get it? So if you see that she's isolating herself, she's not happy, she doesn't speak, and especially as you are present right now, she's not even present. The baby is crying, she can't even hear it.
You
The
can't
rest
even
of you
hear.
can hear it. She's there, but she's not emotionally present. You will have to call her several times before she will respond. That's how serious it can be. Yes. So all these observations, not eating well, not sleeping well, it can even affect her breastfeeding and giving the child breast milk. And also sometimes she feeling that the baby is a burden on her. You can see that it's in her actions that everything about the baby becomes a burden on her. So how the family members can help is noticing all these things. There's active listening. You talking to her about it and allowing her to speak. Active listening is just not communicating.
Yeah, it's
People,
listening. Oh my
yeah,
God, keep quiet and listen.
exactly. People just
Yeah.
speak and then they are waiting to respond, but not trying to understand the person. In such cases, they even find it hard to talk. So if they are talking, allow them talk. The only moment you speak is trying to ask for more clarity, but not trying to judge her or fill her in and all of that. And most especially with their partners and then family members who are close to them during those times, help them with chores. If the woman can express breast milk and store it, at night that the baby is crying, you the husband feed the baby so she can rest.
I
Or the
was
mother
getting
feed the
into
baby
that.
so she can rest. Do you
Yeah.
understand? My mom
Yeah.
says, "Bema nuebin, oba nuebin." You cook some at a point. She also cook when she can. All these support and help comes together to help her heal
Yeah.
faster.
Yeah.
Because she needs a lot of time to rest. And then if you are all showing that you're also caring for the baby and all of that, and then she doesn't feel the baby's a burden on her, it can help her. Yeah. Realize
Exactly.
and then take care of
Exactly.
herself.
Let's get into the husband, our partner. They say, I remember one time I went for a church singles program, and then they said, oh, what's the first thing you're supposed to look out for in a man? And people were saying, rhesus factor. Somebody was saying this. Somebody was saying blood group. Then the man said, a kind man. The man said, a kind man. How can your partner help to prevent? Not even prevent. I mean, you can't prevent it, right? I mean, when it comes, it comes. Or you can
If
prevent
you are
it.
aware, you'll be able to tell that there are things that trigger it. So you'll be aware of those things and then be preparing your mind for it. I think that's what I've observed.
How can your partner or your husband assist with that?
So I think It starts even before the delivery.
Okay.
Right. It starts with while she is pregnant and how supportive you are, when she's pregnant, and then knowing that you're still, it's like a we thing, right? As opposed to, well, you're there and I'm just going to like be sleeping, for example, like helping, with feeding and just being there, being able to just comfort her, assure her, and give her positive words of affirmation. Oh, you're doing so well. I'm so proud of you. They're asking, is there anything you need? Right, and those are some of the things that can be helpful rather than assuming. Also, like you could also take up certain things knowing that these are things that will be helpful, but then also asking, is there anything you need? How are you feeling? Are you okay? Are you doing okay? How was your sleep? Are you These are some of the things that can be really
Yeah,
helpful to
yeah,
as well
yeah,
as a
yeah,
man.
yeah. What are some of the measures you put in place should you find out that someone has postpartum depression? What are some cures that you give to the person? Any tips, anything that will make the person feel better?
And well, you actually even started asking about prevention, right? So sometimes it is something that you can prevent.
Prevention is better
Looking
than cure.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So then that's where we are looking at even knowing maybe in the past how a previous pregnancy has been, right? So if you know that maybe your past pregnancies you had a little bit of even postpartum blues or postpartum depression. And what that means is that you have to try to set yourself, on the right footing the next time. So then knowing that, okay, what are the plans that you put in place? We have like the birth plans, right? So sometimes the birth plans need to put into consideration like your mental health, your mental well-being, right? And so these are some of the things that you can do proactively so that you reduce the likelihood of developing postpartum depression in the first place. If you know that you've had depression even in the past,
The past,
right?
yeah.
That you know that there's a likelihood that you're going to have postpartum depression. So then again, what do you include in your birth plan when you are looking at prevention too as well? So these are some of the things
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah. Does it affect a certain category of women, or everybody can get it? Anyone can get it at any time.
Anyone can become depressed.
It is
It can be
true.
affected by your
yeah,
environment,
yeah.
those around you, and
The
all of that, and
hormones, because the
yourself.
hormones, every
Exactly.
woman,
Yes.
yeah.
So the
Yeah.
hormones as well. As soon as a woman delivers, her estrogen and progesterone level just reduces, and now she's not used to pregnancy, breastfeeding, especially if it's the first time mother. Now she has to go to the pain of
Is it painful breastfeeding?
Yes, sometimes it is. Most of the time, it's like discomfort, not like pain alone as such. Normally, when there's a lot of milk and she cannot give to the child, that's when it swells up, becomes red, and it's more painful. But at the beginning, it's more
Two
about
people.
discomfort. It's about discomfort, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those things does affect, like she has to learn to, but
Okay.
people don't understand that when you're a mother, you're
Yeah.
expected to know all these things and
Okay,
do
then
it
with
ease.
that being said, is it not right for me to say that first time mothers experience postpartum depression more?
No,
What
I
would you
don't think
say?
so.
It really can differ because
Yeah.
the circumstances around giving birth can differ. So the first time when you give birth, it is possible that you have more support, but then later on you don't have as much support because I mean when you have more children, right? It's
Yeah.
possible that now you have more stress, and so then
Yeah.
the likelihood
And the
can even
trauma and the
exactly.
financial support I was also talking about
Yeah,
and all those
yeah,
things, all those
yeah.
factors can
Okay, so it's possible that people think that when you start giving birth, you have to have a grip of it because, like, you already know that I'll give birth, this will happen, this will happen.
Yeah.
So it's possible that you can actually have three children prior, and then the fourth one you have postpartum depression.
Yes, it's possible. Maybe the three was natural, but the last one was cesarean section. And for all you know, she never wanted to go to cesarean section, but she didn't have a choice. She has to go through it. And then her family members, there are women that the family don't want her to go to cesarean session. She's seen as weak. You couldn't push yourself.
Can
You are
you
worthless.
imagine?
Those things here. So
Yeah.
those that these kind of things here we find ourselves like in Africa,
Yeah.
where they are judged by that. So yes, it can come later on, not just at that moment.
Wow, wow. I don't even know what to say. Like this conversation is just mind blowing for me to find out that it has, like, you literally can have postpartum depression even after having like so many kids, but there's one particular kid that you're struggling to bond with, that you're not you're confused about. But let's get into it. Are there any misconceptions about postpartum depression? What makes it so difficult for people to talk about? Like, what are the myths, you know?
I think for one, there's a sense of shame around it, right? And I think recently there's this trend that I'm seeing where I think it's attached to a song by a musician who talked about, oh, I just gave birth and then I just snapped back,
Yeah,
right? And I'm like,
Beyonce, yeah.
yeah, and I'm like, well, you see, all of these things put pressure on the woman, right? Because then your body is changing. Your body is going through an experience that it hasn't gone through before, or it's going through an experience that it's gone through again. And every pregnancy can be different, right? And then you have pressure from society about what it's supposed to be. But then you also may have your own experience that is different from what society is expecting it to be. So then there can be that, conflict. And then looking at everything else that you are going to have to deal with, like the finances, like, the hormones going to we are growing a human being. And then after that, it's like you are online just to kind of distress. It's supposed to be a distress. And then someone's like, I just snap back.
You're like, but I didn't snap back. Yeah.
And so it's some of these things, like, it brings about an unconscious expectation about what's supposed to be happening, right? But then I think that at the end of the day, because I mean, use 9 months to grow a human being, having some grace, for yourself, knowing that you're going to figure it all out, because especially when you're a first time mom, every cry seems the same. Like, what does it mean? Like, there's so much to learn also in the midst of it all. Like this, it takes time to figure out. Oh, okay, this cry means that they are hungry, or this cry means that they want to sleep, or this cry means that like they just want some closeness with you. It takes time, so you are figuring your baby out. You are also trying to recover, and then with all of this, there's that societal expectation.
Yeah, and aside that too, you attending to visitors as well.
Exactly.
Anybody wants to come in.
Yeah, me, but they always say that you, this baby, if you want to sleep, sleep here. Why must you show agony? Why must you cry? Like,
not
close
that
your
deep.
eyes. It's not that deep. Imagine that I want to cry and I'm like, I want to sleep and I'm sitting on my bed and I'm crying. Bro, close your eyes. Like, I wish it was that. I wish it was that simple. Is that postpartum depression with men?
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
Because it's the women who normally
Traditionally.
come to
And
us.
even if anything at all,
They go
it's
through
because of
it.
what the woman is doing. That's what affects
Yes,
the
so
man.
maybe
Yeah,
if she
yeah.
is, and he's worried, it does affect him. And as she mentioned, your hormones, we women have our hormones fluctuating here and there. So
Yeah.
hormones play a role.
Yeah.
She breastfeeding, the discomfort, the pain maybe she went through during pregnancy, the state of the baby. There are cases where the woman will give birth and maybe the baby is an albino. She knows her husband doesn't have some in her family, some is not in her family. Based on when she came or when she met the husband's family, she has not seen any of them like that. But maybe back then he had someone who's an albino. Now she'll be worried. How do I explain to my husband? Do you understand? So sometimes the state of the child cry is also making her feel so sad, because now she doesn't even want to go home. She has no explanation to give and all of that. Yeah, so mostly it comes from the woman. And then if the man is concerned, then maybe it can affect him. But I think the support person should be stronger, and then so that they can help her heal. And
Yeah. Do you think, I don't know, I feel like you don't have to wait for a woman to have a postpartum depression. I think that immediately after childbirth, they should come to you for, what do you think?
Yes, I do think so, because I think the first time you have to go back is in 6 weeks, and even that 6 weeks, you are really mainly focusing on the child and how the child is doing, right? So I think that there should be a checklist, like before you are discharged. Okay, how are you feeling? There should be a checklist just to assess the woman and how she's doing before she's discharged. I think that would be helpful.
that's true.
Wow, ladies, this has been such an insightful conversation. I've grabbed it, I've tied it, and I've put it here. Getting ready for baby Daphne. Yes, you think I could show me Shige, you can't show me Shige. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we just had a conversation about postpartum depression. And so if you're watching me and you've had a baby 6 weeks after, and you're seeing signs, this is definitely something that you should look out for. But in case you would like to talk to someone, our beautiful ladies are here. You can talk to our registered midwife here, our registered midwife. She is Tracy Amene Tinkrai. Okay, what's your number, please? Tell us what's your number. Your phone number.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you can call me on 02 444 95359.
Yes, yes. And my newfound bestie, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Evelyn Roberts, and she's a clinical psychologist. Please, what's your number just in case anyone wants to reach out?
0205 388 916.
All right, thank you very much. We still have more coming up for you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.